What's your name, year, and major?
My name is Rachel Nelson, and I'm a third-year psychobiology major.
Military affiliation? What branch?
I'm a dependent. My dad served, and he was in the Air Force.
What's your interest in the medical field?
My interest in medicine really started when I started volunteering at a therapeutic horse riding center, and there I got to meet a lot of families with disabled children, and a lot of the children had disorders like ADHD, autism, cerebral palsy, other neurodevelopmental disorders, and so that interest really inspired me to join a lab here at UCLA called the Wilson Motor Lab. And the Wilson Motor Lab does motor phenotyping, children with specifically autism, but other neurodevelopmental disorders as well.
How long have you had a lab position?
I've been in that lab since my second year, and I've really learned a lot. My PI is amazing. That's where I really started to foster some of that interest in medicine.
Do you volunteer in a hospital or healthcare facility?
Actually, just around that time, my best friend, her mom went on hospice care because she had cancer, and her mom actually passed away during that time. And I had never heard of hospice care before. I learned a lot about it, how the hospice nurses and the aides and the chaplains and the hospice physicians all kind of came together to provide really holistic, whole person care for her mom. And that was something that really touched me very deeply because they took care of her as a whole person, and that was something that just really spoke to me, and it reminded me of when I was volunteering with the kids with disabilities.
Tell us about your hospice volunteer experience.
From there, I really got interested in hospice volunteering, and I became a certified hospice volunteer, actually for 3 different organizations because I wanted a lot of experience, and so I did it in Northern California, and I've also done it here in LA. From that experience, I started shadowing a hospice palliative care physician who is also board certified in emergency medicine. And I go around with him to patients in different facilities and homes, and it's very intimate, which I like a lot, and it's also very family-centered.
Why did you join the Veterans and Healthcare program at UCLA's VRC?
It was a place where I could find community and find others that had similar life experiences, and it's also a place where people encourage each other and they really care for one another. And having that kind of community, especially at such a big university like UCLA, has been really integral in helping me feel connected and involved in my community. I think some of the best people that I've met at UCLA have been in the Veteran Resource Center and through the Veterans and Healthcare program. So it's really been a life-changing experience.
What made you take on a leadership position for the Veterans Healthcare program?
I had also been attending some of the Veterans and Healthcare programs that they had been putting on, and I think they recognized that I had come to a few of the events and that I was volunteering at the facility, so they saw that I was getting involved and wanted me to join. So it's been really one of the most impactful experiences for me since I've been here at UCLA.
What are the goals for the Veterans and Healthcare program?
The goals of the program are really to connect with military-connected students and veterans, and let them know that they're not alone in their career journeys, especially in healthcare. We do bring in lots of speakers from medical students to dental students, nursing students, to really give a wide variety and array of different career opportunities for military-connected students and veterans to kind of learn about what their options are and just know that they have a support system out there that can really help them and support them through their journey.
Any advice for those applying to medical school?
Some of the best advice that I've received is to start early. And when people say start early, I think what they mean is start thinking about your experiences early, start thinking about why they're meaningful to you, and think about why are you really involved in them? What is it that you're hoping to gain? How are you giving back? Those are questions that really helped me form what I wanted to talk about in my application. And I would also say it's great to get feedback, but I would also say don't get too much feedback, because sometimes if you get too much input from others, then it can kind of inhibit and impede your own voice. And it's a really great thing to have your voice front and center.
When did you start on your med school application?
I guess when you think about the application cycle and the process, it really is quite a long process. Everything you need for the application really starts several years before you even begin writing your application. And so kind of the main things that go into it are finding experiences that are really meaningful to you, that you can speak about, and you can show how you made impact in those areas. In addition to taking all the standardized tests and doing all of the logistical work and the academic rigor part of it, I think the most important thing is to kind of focus on those experiences, your leadership experiences, your volunteering experiences, your clinical experiences, if that's what you're looking to go into, and really be able to think, how did I learn from this opportunity? How did I grow? What kinds of competencies did I develop through this? Was it empathy? Was it compassion? Was it resiliency, dedication, cultural competency? I think those are really wonderful things that can really help drive that process.
What are the best study habits for the MCAT?
My best advice is to set aside a dedicated block of time that you can really put towards studying for the test. It is a beast. It is probably harder than any test I've taken in my life. And something that really helped me was setting aside a period of time, about 3 months of dedicated study time, where I could just focus on what the test covered and also really trying to figure out in what way does the test want you to think. And the only way that you can really learn how to do that is by practicing AAMC materials. If you're taking the MCAT, I think AAMC materials are really gold standard for that. So I would highly recommend using all of their practice tests, learning how the exam is structured, how you're supposed to think, and really think critically when you get something wrong.
When did you start studying for the MCAT?
I started studying in June and I took my MCAT in September. So I used lots of different prep resources. There's a lot of companies out there that make practice exams. Some of them are Kaplan, Princeton Review. Blueprint also makes good exams, and the Kaplan books in particular are great for content review. That's what I used. So my advice would be to take as many of those practice exams as you can, and like I said before, think really critically about why you get those questions wrong and what you can do next time to improve.
Why did you choose to attend UCLA?
For all the schools that I applied to and I got into, I made a point of visiting their campuses. UCLA was the only campus that I hadn't visited. And so when I got here, I realized how much I loved the sun and how much I loved how everyone smiles at you. And also, this is a little silly, but I love the brick buildings. It makes me feel like I'm really on a college university campus. And it made me feel like I would be motivated to really study hard while I would be here because I felt like I was in a real university setting.
Who would you like to thank or say hello to?
I'd love to say hi to my mom and my dad in Northern California. They've loved and supported me in so many ways. I love you guys. My sister and her husband, who live in Reno, Nevada, they supported me while I was studying for my MCAT. They were one of my biggest support systems during that time. So I love you guys. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you soon.